Hey, what's up New Zealand and the world? Welcome back to Kiwi Voice. My name is Lucas Lawmans and today we're going to look at a couple of the media's lies. When I say the media's lies, I'm talking about that institutionalised mainstream media, specifically in this case Newshub and stuff.co.nz. They're the two most viewed, most read and most watched mainstream media outlets in New Zealand. Like the rest of the world, we are actually going through a bit of a renaissance or a bit of a change. However, that comes with a little bit of a caveat. Like the rest of the world, our mainstream media is noticing a significant decline in trust and a significant decline in viewership, which is a whole nother story for another day. But today we're going to actually really have a good look at two real key bits of misinformation and government propped up propaganda, or whatever you might want to call it, based around obviously the COVID response and our treatments to it. Go back in time a little bit, a few months to sort of August, September in 2021, have a look at what seems to be a worldwide coordinated smear campaign against a particular medication that's, for whatever reasons, become incredibly controversial. We'll have a quick look at New Zealand's media's part in that, and then we're going to go on and have a look at something a bit more recent with regards to Joe Rogan, and obviously he's becoming more and more in the media because they hate, in the mainstream media, because they really hate the fact that he's getting around 11 million views per episode, as opposed to, say, for example, CNN in America, once regarded as the bastion of free speech and real news, gets about 842,000. So let's go back first and have a look at that medication. Now, Newshub's been real complicit in pushing this completely false and deliberately misleading story. They've had multiple articles. We've had MedSafe warns people against using horse medicine to ward off COVID-19. So that's MedSafe, New Zealand's own drug regulation and approval authority. We've had Joe Rogan has COVID-19, is treating it with widely discredited horse drug ivermectin. Once again, a really blatant misinformation, completely misleading headline, which I'll point out to you why shortly. They've reprinted either through complete laziness or because they are still within the same narrative, and that is COVID-19 FDA tells Americans to stop taking ivermectin as a treatment for coronavirus. There was a famous tweet that was put out there where the FDA said, you guys aren't cattle, you aren't horses, just stop it, or something along those lines, which has been widely discredited itself. In another article we've got there as well, there's more. These are just the ones I've selected. Royal New Zealand College of GPs speaks out against ivermectin, says it is strongly not recommended as a COVID-19 treatment. So there's two key debunkings, or two elements to why these are just fabricated and obviously government agenda pushed story. Let's jump through to sciencedirect.com. So this is a great resource, regards lots of different clinical trials, the results from them. It doesn't appear to get censored. It's a proper scientific source. We'll look at this article entitled Ivermectin, a multifaceted drug of Nobel Prize honoured distinction with indicated efficacy against a new global scourge, COVID-19. This was published in volume 43, September 2021, or as publication 100924. In the abstract, to lead off this article, highlighted a couple of bits there, you'll see in 2015, the Nobel Committee for Physiology or Medicine, in its only award for treatments of infectious diseases since six decades ago, so 60 years prior was the last time the Nobel Committee for Physiology and Medicine had awarded something in regards to a treatment of infectious diseases, honoured the discovery of ivermectin, a multifaceted drug deployed against some of the world's most devastating tropical diseases. So that's the first thing. So why discredit it as a horse deworming drug? It is used as a cattle and horse dewormer, just like penicillin that is widely recognised and widely lauded in human medicine is used in animals as well, along with a bunch of other medicines that have crossover purposes between animals and humans. This is obviously a completely moot point. It makes absolutely no relevance whatsoever that it is a horse dewormer, but obviously this is what's been pushed specifically through Newshub as part of this worldwide campaign to demonise this thing. Go further down into this article. Since March 2020, when ivermectin was first used against the new global scourge of COVID-19, more than 20 randomised clinical trials have tracked such inpatient and outpatient treatments. 6 of 7 meta-analyses of ivermectin treatment RCTs reporting in 2021 found notable reductions in COVID-19 fatalities, with a mean 31% relative risk of mortality versus controls. During mass ivermectin treatments in Peru, excess deaths fell by a mean of 74% over 30 days in its 10 states with the most extensive treatments. Reductions in deaths correlated with the extent of ivermectin distributions in all 25 states. Sharp reductions in morbidity using ivermectin were also observed in 2 animal models. And it goes on to a little bit more scientific speak, which is a bit over my head. A lot more in the article. You can go through that and actually read the studies in a little bit more detail. Essentially what it's saying here is all that stuff that Newshubs pushing are complete and utter lies. I don't really know what else to say around that. We all know about the Public Journalist Information or the Public Interest Journalism Fund. I forget how they word it. That's the only thing I can link, and why wouldn't you link those two things together when you can get clear, accurate scientific information like this, and yet Newshubs pushing out something completely different, obviously trying to discredit the thing. So plenty more questions to be asked and none that are ever going to get answered by these guys. That turned out to be a fairly easy one. Let's move on to the more current story, and that is this open letter from 270 doctors to Joe Rogan, basically trying to get him censored, deplatformed off Spotify. They are pleading with Spotify to try and take him off the platform because they think he's doing harm to societal good. Let's take a look at this. Look at the story. So here it is in Newshub. Hundreds of doctors and scientists demand Spotify stop Joe Rogan spreading COVID-19 misinformation. Washington Post already also had a crack at it. However, if we go and have a look at a real independent journalist, let's check this guy out here, Jordan Schachtel, I think is the way you pronounce it. He's got his own Substack and commentates a lot on this kind of thing. He did a bit of investigation into it. So of the 270 and he says, of the 270 doctors who called out Joe Rogan through this open letter, the vast majority are not medical doctors. Wow, that's a surprise. This is another attempt at trying to shape an image of 100-strong coalition of medical doctors who are generally concerned about Joe Rogan's conversation on his massive platform. There's that surmising. Viewed the letter and its signatories. Only 100 of the 270 people signed are people with qualified medical degrees. And a large chunk of that 100 or so are MDs employed at universities who are not actually practicing physicians. Put paid to that, the 2 co-authors of the letter, Jessica Rivera and Ben Ryan, possess medical degrees. Rivera holds a master's degree and Ryan is a PhD academic who researches psychiatry. So probably not in the specific area of COVID-19 treatment or wouldn't be seen as experts in the field, let's put it that way. Signatories include, when broken down, 50 PhD academics, 60 college professors, 29 nurses, 10 students, 4 medical residents, and even a handful of science podcasters. So that could have been me, even though I'm not at all a science podcaster. I'm just a guy. I don't have any qualifications in this stuff whatsoever, but might as well have been me chucking my name on the bottom of this thing and calling me a doctor. The letter concludes with a call for Spotify to censor Rogan as part of a policy to moderate misinformation on the platform. So there you go, folks. It's really easy to do this these days. I will try and do my best to point out other blatant mainstream media lies or agenda-pushing clickbait stories. But I think you possibly, if you're watching this channel, you're already halfway there. It only takes a quick search here, quick search through DuckDuckGo or even Google in a lot of cases, even though you get a lot of curated responses through that, to get an alternative viewpoint that instantly shuts down these ridiculous mainstream media fear-mongering articles. And it's a fun game. I have to admit, I enjoy it. So if you're enjoying the channel, please hit the like button, chuck a comment down below, share the links far and wide. Let's get this Kiwi voice blowing up. See if we can open a few more eyes. I'll respond to every single comment on this channel, but in the meantime, Keep an eye on it, stay safe, stay free, and we'll see you on the next one.